Hi, this is Vicki with My Paper Connection. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I'm so happy to be with you today. Today's project, which you know, usually on Saturdays I do either a fun fold or a 3D. Well, today it's going to be a 3D project. It's a gift bag, and it has a hanging card that comes with it. It's so handy. I have kept these. I've made a ton of them, and I've kept them and used them for gifts, and it's so handy to have these on hand. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I used the water lily paper that was free in the Celebration brochure. Celebration is our probably our largest promotion of the year, and it lasts from January to March 31st. This is actually the second release catalog that has come out, and until March 31st, for every $50 that you spend, either from the annual or the mini catalog, you can choose one item for free in here. And not all of the items are, some of them you actually have to have spent $100, like this particular one and this particular one. But there are a whole lot of stamps, and this is actually reversible. But the paper you can get for $50, this stamp set, the vellum, it's just such a neat campaign, and you can get so much for free. If you don't already have a demonstrator and you would like a catalog in one of these brochures, please feel free to message me. I'll have my website going across the top of the screen. Just hit contact me and let me know, and I'll send you a catalog. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. For this bag, I'm going to be using the Perennial Essence paper, and every week I feature something. I'm not featuring a particular stamp set this time. I'm featuring the paper because this paper is magnificent. The very first time I saw it, I just fell in love with it. I love art, and I love Monet in particular, the impressionistic paper. And this looks like somebody just took a paintbrush and just painted it. It's just absolutely exquisite. And you can see on the other side, it's very pretty as well. So what I'm going to do, since you can tell there's an obvious pattern, you need to make sure that all your sides are going in the right direction. So I brought in my trimmer, and I'm going to be honest with you, I started videoing this a minute ago, and thankfully I had an extra piece because I used the wrong one, and I actually cut it. Don't do what I do what I say. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our scoring blade, which I have switched mine because our old trimmer was like that, and I'm just a creature of habit. And I'm going to score it at 1 inch across the top. Now with this particular paper, you don't want to have a heavy hand with it because you can actually end up tearing it. So at the top I'm going to do 1 inch. For each side I'm going to do 3 inches. Along the bottom I'm going to do, I don't think I did it enough that time actually. Let's try that again. Here we go. And then on the bottom I'm going to do 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and get this finished, and I'll finish the other piece, and then I'll be right back with you. I've already cut a piece of 4 by 10.5 inch paper, and then I scored it in 5 1/4, and this is going to be my hanging card. Then I'm also bringing in Petal Pink, and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. And now I'm done with all of my cutting. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and get my burnishing done. The top part folds over on the opposite side. All the other pieces are going to go in towards the inside. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to take my scissors, and where this little square is right here, you're not going to cut that square out, but you are going to just zip right along, right up that seam. And that's what's going to be the bottom of your bag. I am going to miter this just a little bit, just a wee bit, only on this particular edge. And if it's not straight, it's okay, because nobody's going to see it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in my tear and tape. And the way this is going to work, I want the top to stay down really nice and steady. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit on the underside of this little lip that folds down. And one of the little tricks I'll show you is I have an old block. It's not a Stampin' Up! Block, but it has a really sharp crease right there. I like to use that to rip off my tear and tape with. It just gives it a really nice even edge. And I don't have to put my tear and tape down every single time I want to disconnect it. All right, now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to bring the little tab, the bottom tab, up right here. I'm going to do that on all of them. Okay, now I'm just going to make sure that tear and tape is down really well, and then I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and just rip that off, and then fold it down, just secure it in place. See that? How nice that is now? It's almost like you've ironed it. Doesn't want to stick up. But in order to get it off quickly, it is best to just rub that down like that. Otherwise, you're going to be fiddling with it trying to get it up. There's something so satisfying about ripping that off. I don't know what it is. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to bring it up to meet it. And I don't know if you can see, I'm leaving just a little bit of an edge hanging off right here on the side. And I'm just going to trim this right here off. I probably should have went ahead and mitered that side too. Maybe I will on this other one. I think I will. I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, I'll tell you in a second why I'm doing that. All right, and then you're just going to bring this one up, and I'm going to leave a little bit extra on this side as well. The purpose in doing that is that this is going to nest inside of this one, and if they have the exact same curves and corners and all that, it's going to cause this to kind of rise up the top of it right here. It's not going to fit in securely. So that's why I did that. I think I'm going to go ahead and trim some off here too. I'll be right back with you. All right, we're going to rip these off and put this together. Now on this one, I want it to fit flush with that flap right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in flush, just like that. Same thing on this side. All right. Now this is going to be the inside one. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tear and tape, and I'm going to run it along the edges on both sides. I'm going to put 2 of them on there. I'm just going to rip these off. It just seems easier. I'm also going to put it along the bottom down here too, because I want it to stick really well to the bottom inside of that box. That's not box, bag. I actually learned how to do this from a video I watched by Rhonda Wade. When I first became a demonstrator back a year and a half ago, something like that, I couldn't believe how easy. She made it look so easy. It's such a cute project. I've made these for craft fairs. First craft fair I did, I probably had 15 of these things made up. I didn't sell that many, but the next craft fair that I had, I took them back with me and I sold a lot of them. But I've ended up using them for gifts throughout time. So I like to have some on hand. In the spirit of transparency, I did this earlier. I did a whole video and I got to this point and then I messed up and got it stuck. So be very careful when you're doing this. Have the outside of the box here, and then take the one that's all glued up. And actually, I'm going to do it this way. Just hold those in, and then put your bottom in first. Just slip it in there. Hopefully my head didn't get in the camera. Push it down, then cause them to meet on this side. Perfect. Perfection. I did it. Yay. All right, so I'm just going to put my hand in there, make sure that that's down really well. Just like that. Okay. And then you can even squeeze it like that if you want to. And you can add handles to these if you want. Alrighty, so now you're going to take this piece that is the 2.5 by 5.5, and you're going to take your classic label punch. And I'm just going to go along. I'm going to make sure that it rests right here in the bottom, and then it's flush up against the edge right there. I'm going to go ahead and pop it. I'm going to move it over, and I want to make sure that all of that is out. Pop it again, and then one more time. Take it all the way to where it's flush on this side, and punch it again. And that's how you get that. All right, so now I'm just going to put a piece of tear and tape right here across the top of this. Uh-oh, ripped it. I didn't have it held down securely. And now I'm just going to, I always like to put this on the one that I used as my outside, because you do have joints that you can see on the other side, okay? So, just place that evenly across the front, right there where that lip is at. And then just seal it down really well. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my card that's going to go on the front, and it'll hang down like this. And you can do it like this, or you could turn it around and use this one. I'm going to go ahead and use this as the front of it. And you're going to take a piece of Whisper White, and it is 3 3/4 by 5, I think. But don't worry, because all of the measurements, the sizes, and all of the supplies that I used will be listed in my blog. Just going to glue that inside. Now I'm going to get my stamping done. I'm going to use Here's a Card, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday. And I'm going to use Petal Pink, which is the color that I've used with my hanger. I'm just stamping Happy Birthday. That doesn't look very consistent. I think I need to re-ink my pad. That's better. And I'm going to use my Pretty Label Punch. I'm just going to punch out Happy Birthday. Then I'm also going to punch out a Pretty Label Punch in Petal Pink. Then I'm just going to take the Petal Pink one and cut it down the middle. Let me use my snail. It'll be faster. And I'm just going to place a little bit of snail on each side of the Whisper White piece. And I'm just going to layer it like this. Now, if you have little pieces left over right here, it's not a problem. You can just go along with your scissors and trim it, just like that. Okay. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to add some dimensionals to it. I don't have my larger ones, so I'll just use some minis and that'll be fine. Oops. All right, now I'm just going to place that along the front like that. And then I'm going to make some little flowers using the punch. Now, I got this for free out of the first celebration brochure. I'm going to do 3 of them. So I'm going to add some rhinestones from the Noble Peacock. I think I'm just going to use the pink ones in the center of them. Then I'm going to take some mini dimensionals and just place along the back side of them like that. I mentioned in Wednesday's video, if you see my hands shaking, I'm not nervous. It is that I have had a sinus infection. Started out as a cold almost 4 weeks ago and turned into a sinus infection. So I've been on some high-powered medicines and it makes me a wee bit jittery. Only time I get nervous doing these is if my husband sneaks up behind me and listens to me. I hate that when that happens. All right, just going to place those on there. And you'll notice that I'm just kind of folding those up a little bit. Place that right there like that. There's not really any rhyme or reason of how you place these on here. I think I'm going to do it up there. I did them like that on this one. Okay, let me see if I can move that one over a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Cute. And you can see where there's a place to write in it. Then you just take it and slip it down inside of that. And ta-da! You have a bag. And it has your card with it. All you have to do is just stick your stuff in there, put a tissue in it, tissue paper, and sign your card and you're ready to go. Isn't that great? I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope if you have not already subscribed, you'll just hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you can get notice when I have future videos coming out. Thank you so much for joining. I would love to hear your comments or any questions that you may have, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.